Lori Johnson. After a weekend of protests and hard questions from allies, the White House says it will review U.S. surveillance activities.
Revelations that the NSA has tapped the phones of world leaders have created an international headache for the Obama administration. John Waggy has more on the fallout in tonight's top story.
The progressive leaks from former NSA contractor Edward Snowden continue to create shockwaves that are playing havoc with U.S. foreign policy.
The secrets that have been revealed are doing significant damage to our bilateral relationships with Germany, with Mexico, with the other countries.
The revelation that the NSA tracked German Chancellor Angela Merkel's cell phone for years gets the most attention, but it happened with nearly 36 other leaders and millions of citizens in Europe and other parts of the world as well. Spain has summoned the U.S. ambassador after a Spanish newspaper reported that 60 million phone calls were monitored in Spain in just 1 month at the end of 2012. But many in Washington, including key Republicans, are concerned that all the scrutiny could damage efforts to protect against terrorist attack. Congressman Peter King defended the process on NBC's Meet the Press.
We've saved many lives in Germany because of the intelligence we've given them. The fact is there can be information that's being transmitted that can be useful to us and then ultimately useful to Germany.
Another congressman suggested that allies listening in on allies is a common practice and that the frenzy should simmer down.
This whole notion that we're going to go after each other on what is really legitimate protection of nation-state interests, I think is disingenuous.
The White House has been quick to put out the word that President Obama didn't know about the eavesdropping on world leaders when he said this back in August.
I don't have an interest, and the people of the NSA don't have an interest in doing anything other than making sure that where we can prevent a terrorist attack.
In his Monday briefing, White House Press Secretary Jay Carney said the administration hopes to finish its review of the surveillance programs by the end of the year.
We need to make sure that we're collecting intelligence in a way that advances our security needs and that we don't just do it because we can.
But it's difficult to determine what might make the matter go away, with so many leaders and so many media outlets in an uproar. John Waggy, CBN News.
Our chief political correspondent David Brody joins us now with more on this. David, how bad is this NSA scandal for the Obama administration and for the U.S. as a whole?
Well, it's bad, Mark. I don't think there's any question about it. I mean, Jay Carney at the White House briefing today got peppered with questions, and that's never a good sign for this White House. And look, Carney had to back off for a little bit and say, hey, we indeed are going to make some sort of changes here. We're going to have to figure this out. John Waggy pointed that out at the end of his piece. So there is going to be some sort of review. But look, I mean, let's remember where this president was in 2008. He was in front of the Brandenburg Gate in Germany, in front of tens and tens of thousands of people, talking about this new day in America and in the world. And now all of a sudden we have all of these leaders very upset with not just this administration, but specifically with President Obama. It has been, in essence, a 180 here, totally here. Mark?
Well, David, leaders from both parties say we rely on surveillance information to protect us from terrorists. It could be one of the few things both sides agree on, but could these revelations lead to more partisan fighting over privacy?
I don't think you're going to see so much partisan fighting. You might see a little bit of that on the edges, but I think what you're actually going to see is more Republicans, constitutional conservative Republicans like Rand Paul, Mike Lee, Ted Cruz, start to make the case that there are some real serious governmental privacy issues all the way back to the Patriot Act in 2001. They're going to start to make that case within the context of the Republican Party. So I think what you're going to see is, once again, here we go again, Mark, a distance between the GOP establishment figures, the Mike Rogers that you just saw in that piece and some others like Boehner, and then the constitutional conservatives who are very concerned about the privacy issues of all Americans. And I think you're going to see more of a rift within the GOP than the GOP versus the Democrats.
The damage has been done. Will America be able to redeem itself on an international level?
Well, I think it's going to take some time. I don't think there's any question about that. And I think that the problem here for the administration is that Edward Snowden is still out there, and the last time I checked, he's got one of those modems or whatever you want to call it. He's got a fiber line, and he's going to leak some more documents. So absolutely, there is going to be more trickling out here. And let's remember, there are already some European Union members saying, hey, wait a minute, we're not going to have any sort of trade negotiation with the United States. So there are a lot of trade deals in jeopardy here as well. So this is not just diplomatic. This could be economic as well.
All right, David, as always, thanks for your insights, sir. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Mark.
And don't forget, for the latest from David, you can check out his blog and weekly show, The Brody File. Find them at our website, cbnnews.com.